Anybody want to take a guess on how many promises there are in Scripture? How many of God's promises? You can dazzle your friends when you say this.
365.
Close. Anybody want to guess? Anybody? Roughly, this is an ish. 3,573 promises made by God to His people. Well, you got the 3 right. You got the 3 right. Now, think about the question that I just asked you. How many promises have you made to God? And how many of those promises specifically have you broken? Thank you. 3,573 promises to His people in Scripture. And does anybody want to guess how many of them are broken? 0. Why do we struggle with faith? Verse 4. So Abram departed as the Lord had instructed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75. Okay. Dude was old. Let's just get that out of the... 75 years old, and the Lord said, I want you to take off, leave your house, take your family with you, and walk 1,200 miles. It's not like he could just kind of skip and jump and go over the Lake of the Ozarks and be there. He had to go north to Turkey and then south. Okay, just wanted to throw that in. He took his wife, his nephew, and all his wealth, his livestock, and all the people who had joined his household at Haran, and finally arrived in Canaan. Finally arrived. I looked, trying to get an idea of how long it took him to get there. Didn't really get any clear-cut picture, so I'm not going to say it, but I'm sure it was probably years that it took him, 75 years old, to walk from where he was to where he went. Think about this. And think about the promises that you make and the promises that God makes. We are not changed by the promises we make to God. We are changed by believing the promises that He makes to us. We are not changed by what we promise God that we're going to do. But we are eternally changed, not only by the promises that He makes, but by believing the promises that He makes. Some refer to God as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Heard that? If Abram didn't go when God called him to go, there would have been no Isaac, which was his son. You remember? He's the one that him and Sarah finally gave birth to. He took him up to the altar, and God wanted to test him. Okay? So if Abram didn't go, if you play that story out, and Abram said, I'm not doing it, I'm too old, blah, 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 all this list of excuses that we are so good at, there would have been no Isaac. If there was no Isaac, there would have been no Jacob. Guess how many sons Jacob had? 12. Those 12 sons ended up being the 12 tribes of Israel.